Okay people, it's been a while, but today we're going to be talking a lot of One Piece. We're going to be covering events that have occurred from chapters 988 to 991. Those are the last chapters that I have not covered yet to catch up, so when the manga returns this upcoming week. But a lot has gone down in One Piece recently. As you know, it seems as though we're edging slowly but surely towards the climax of this arc. I mean, it hasn't been confirmed or anything like that, but the battles have gotten even more intense. Things is getting more to that limit, and yeah, shit is going down. People, Drake flipping, Usopp and Nami versus Page 1 and Ulti potentially, which I'm so excited we're gonna talk about that. Big Mom getting her face smashed in by Franky, which Franky MVP shit in this one. Like, again, a lot to talk about in the Wano arc of the last few chapters. Shit is just like bananas, people. So without further ado, people, it's been a while since I've said this, but I can't wait to say it. Let's talk some of that One Piece greatness. Yeah, people, it's been a bit, but we're back. Let's talk some One Piece. Mugiwara Straw Hat!
I say we gonna do what we do, no matter how you move, make your move. That's how it be, though.
So like I said, when we last left off, it was, I want to say the last one we talked about was chapter 987, and where we left off, pretty much the Scabbards were headed toward Kaido. They were about to go down, throw down with him on the rooftop of this whole Coliseum that they're in right now, or it's not a Coliseum, whatever, but a lot of shit has gone down. I mean, for starters, you know, like I said, the battle is going down, but we're gonna go beat by beat, event by event, so we could cover everything, make sure we don't leave nothing out. So let's start from the top, because in 988 we got a big setup that I want to talk about, where Momo is rescued by Sanji, because again, we had the big setup for the Scabbards versus Kaido. Everybody is throwing down and shit like that, but we had a big moment where a lot of the fandom is talking, right? Because Sanji shows up in his Germa 66 gear and people are going crazy. It's like, oh shit, Soba Mask is in the house, whatever. But he saved Momo and seemingly has a setup to fight King. Now, to be honest with you, because where the fandom is already going crazy is the fact that Sanji going up against King more than likely means that potentially Zoro will go up against Queen. That's some of the talk of the town I've been seeing recently. And of course, well, Zoro versus Kaido, which is an even bigger feat. I honestly think if Sanji really has a full-blown fight against King, first of all, that will right there cement Sanji as just like a whole other level. But then at the same time, the people, the Zoro fans are going to be like, wait a minute, he's only going up against Queen, because it seems as though King is way stronger than Queen. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm off on that, whatever, but seeing Sanji and that potential setup of them two going at it. I mean, Sanji was getting a little bit worked around. I ain't gonna lie. Like, yeah, he had that one triumphant moment of saving Momo, but then it's just like, it's King, baby. But I definitely don't think that it's like, hey, if, you know, let's just say it's Sanji versus King, Zoro versus Queen. That doesn't necessarily mean that Sanji is like stronger than Zoro, right? I mean, who knows? Maybe if it would have been switched up, could have been, you know, same result. I mean, we don't know exactly what the results are going to be anyway, but I am really excited about that. I think that is very dope. It's going to be interesting to see, because King is one of the higher ups in Kaido's crew, right? Like, I don't know if they exactly have 100% cemented positions for each person of the Beast Pirates, but either way, I'm here for it. And I think that, to be honest with you, if Sanji takes out King, goes up against King, whatever you want to say, I think Zoro not only should go up against Queen, but at least get a dig in at Kaido. I don't know, because based on where we're at with the manga right now with the chapters, it looks like the Scabbards might be able to edge it out. We gotta wait and see on there, but yeah, that's where the fandom is right now. Once again, the Zoro fans and the Sanji fans going at it, because Sanji is right now throwing down with King. I mean, for a moment anyway, because he got sent flying for a bit, and then Luffy sends Yamato to go towards Momo and rescue him and whatnot. And to be honest with you, it was a little bit awkward, because at a certain point, like, don't get me wrong, that's cool. Yamato, she's really inspired by Oden. She's like, oh yeah, you know, want to be just like him and all that jazz. Cool beans. But to me, it was kind of like, first of all, you're psychologically traumatizing this kid, and what the fuck is wrong with you when she says, don't worry, I'm Odin, and the face that Shinobu and Momo made, I'm just kind of like, relax, like, okay, cool, you want to be Odin, you're inspired by Odin. Remember though, you're not Odin, and that's Odin's real son that you're playing with his mind right there, saying that you're Odin, so relax just a little bit there, bro. And then for a moment, we had Big Mom hunting down, chasing after Luffy, chasing after Nami and them, and that chapter ended off with a very big splash of Franky, which, Franky, again, the last handful of chapters at the very least has been true MVP status, because 988 ends off with Franky and Brooke, and they smash into Big Mom with the motorcycle that they're riding, one of, you know, Franky's gadgets or whatever, one of his little vehicles and shit like that. And to be honest with you, that was the start of Franky just being a beast. And I was like, okay then, like, don't get me wrong, to a certain degree, and I'm curious what you guys think about this, moments like that kind of make me look a little bit like, it's Big Mom, man, she's a Yonko, you know what I'm saying? Like, would Doflamingo had allowed, or even a moment of that would have happened with Doflamingo, Franky smashing his vehicle into his face, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just compare it and shit, I'm just like, I guess she's a bigger target, and she's a little more sluggish than, like, a Doflamingo would be, but I don't know, shit like that is funny, it shows some great stuff for Franky, but at the cost of Big Mom's, like, you know, I don't feel as scared of Big Mom as I did way back, even in Whole Cake Island. Like, it feels as though she's feeling less menacing because there's so many comedic moments, and she hasn't really, like, she ain't gobbled down a Straw Hat or something. Not that I'm expecting that, but she showed ferocity, but there hasn't been any casualties. There hasn't been like a cost. Like at a certain point we thought Jinbei would have died, right? And that didn't happen. So moments like that, great for Franky, but at the detriment of the fearsome nature of Big Mom. Then we cut to 989, Luffy continuing trying to get to Kinemon and them, because at that particular point all of the scabbards are on the rooftop with Kaido beginning that battle and whatnot. So a lot of these chapters, just to be honest with you, while there was some moments here and there, and we'll talk about it, where Luffy like goes Gear 4 for a moment or whatever, a lot of it is the classic One Piece. Luffy is running around doing something. It's not that he's running from a foe, he's actually been trying to, or attempting to, get up to the rooftop so he can fight Kaido. So that's been par for the course with Luffy's actions, not everybody else, because there's a ton of things going down, a lot of setups, just a monstrosity of stuff happening in this arc right now. But in terms of Luffy's character, a lot of him has just been trying to get somewhere, running, not running away from things like the classic stuff of, hey, we're running away from these terrible villains. He's running to the danger, he just can't quite get there yet. And also, once again, in this chapter 989, Franky backing down Big Mom, trying his best and shit. Like, oh my gosh, I never thought, because like, if you ask me about my favorite Straw Hats, I'm gonna tell you a lot of the ones that we met early on in East Blue, North Blue, you know, the early Straw Hats are my favorite. I usually will always say my least favorites are like Franky, the tail end ones, Franky and Brooke, even though I really love Brooke too, and I like Franky a lot. But this arc has just been, I don't know, and it's not even like, it's not a Franky centric arc. We did that in you know, the Water 7 arc and shit like that. That was his and his lobby and stuff like that. So it's not a Franky centric arc by any means, but it's just like, he is doing the damn thing. Then we find out a little more about the numbers, because for the longest time I was still like, what's up with the numbers? We find out that they were basically a failed attempt at recreating the ancient giants, I want to say from Elbaf, because that's where all the giants come from, hello, and that's why they're not right in the head, you know what I mean? They were basically punk hazard experiments similar to what Caesar Clown was doing with the children, how he was making them or whatever. But the numbers, I'm more scared, in my opinion, like, this is just me, and again, I want your input on this. I'm more scared of the numbers and how freaking savage and psycho they are than Big Mom. Like, Big Mom, when she loses it and goes nuts, yeah, I'll be scared, but in terms of, like, comparing how the numbers are, because they're also really drunk all the time, I'm more scared of the numbers. Numbers, like, there's one point which we'll talk about in a bit, of one of the numbers, Hacha, picking up one of his fucked up people and using the person as a weapon, his own people and shit. So I'm scared of the numbers. I like the numbers. I think that they're a great addition to what we have to face in this arc. Numbers are really interesting, and again, scary as a motherfucker. And finding out where they come from and what they actually are, it's like, yo, numbers are scary. And once again, MVP, once again, the man himself, Franky, using, I want to say it was Radical Beam, blasting on the numbers' asses. I'm just like, can we give this man a super medal at this particular point, okay? Because, like, Franky, baby, like, yo, crashing into Big Mom, trying to back her down, using a Radical Beam on the numbers. This man is a monster. Like, fuck the numbers, give me that Franky greatness, baby. And for a bit, we have a little bit of a combination of Chopper and Usopp there together. I want to say they were like in that can or something like that, that machine, that tank or whatever. So we had that, which Usopp does something, or I don't know if it's greater or what you want to call it, but Usopp has a grander role a little bit later, besides just being there with Chopper being scared as shit as the weak duo, trio, the weak ones from the Straw Hats, which I never understand that about Chopper, but different story for a different time. And then we get a combination explanation that, yet again, is more to the detriment of me fearing and looking at Big Mom as the big threat that she is, because we do know Big Mom, she ain't nothing to fuck with. Like, even if they're getting off on, like, you know, dropping a motorcycle into her face, all of this shit, even when Queen back earlier, what was it, at the Udon prison, when he did the headbutt that knocked her out for a split second, you're not killing her. You know what I'm saying? You're getting a couple lucky ones because she's an older, really giant target. So, you know, it is at the detriment, but we also got to keep in mind, like, Big Mom is still strong as fuck. Like, yeah. Because then we get a really shining moment with Jinbei and Robin using his fishman karate, and Robin using her hands and shit like that. He flips Big Mom a bit, and I'm just like, I hate to see it. Like, Big Mom just being manhandled and shit like that. Like, I don't think I would have imagined that happening in Whole Cake with Jinbei. Like, you know, Jinbei was getting on his knees in Whole Cake and shit like that. But, like, what the fuck? What are they doing to Big Mom in this arc? Like, I'm still fearing Kaido. I'm still scared of Kaido. I'm scared of the numbers. Big Mom, I kind of want to just, like, I don't know, walk on her head, because she seems like she's just this big plaything at this point. And then towards the end of that chapter, Luffy and Zoro, once again trying to head to Kaido, are stopped by Queen and King at that particular point. Again, I'm running off notes. I don't have the chapters actually in front of me, but again, par for the course of what's been really Luffy's role, even Zoro to a certain degree as of recent in these few chapters, running, trying to get to the scabbards, and, you know, obstacle after obstacle being thrown in front of him. It's not necessarily bad, it's just like, it's a waiting game to see Luffy really go in and see if he has any new techniques or anything like that when he goes up against Kaido, because, yeah, it's still Luffy's story at the end of the day, but, you know, we'll get to it in a bit. Then 990 is where we start getting into a little bit of betrayal. We got Sasaki back up, and okay, because at the end of the day, I want to see more from the Tobiropo. I feel as though there's so many setups, and I hope that Oda doesn't skip a ton of them, because obviously he's infamous for it, and we've seen, and I want to say, was it this chapter or the next chapter? I think it was 991, a big skip, but he might as well have left Sasaki down, just because, like, there's so many fights going on that Oda is already skipping stuff. We're not going to be able to see everybody have a handy role. I mean, if you even go to Whole Cake, we didn't get a third, a quarter, nothing of Big Mom's children really having big roles and big battles and shit like that, and having, like, the Tobiropo and all these people is like, there's just not enough time. So he should have stayed down, in my opinion, which him getting back up, I feel as though it was a big setup for something else to come moving forward. Well, at the very least, I think he had a role in letting people know what happened with Drake. Am I off on that? Then we get to a point, because there's some suspicions going on, where Hawkins makes a big declaration that I feel is very, very important, and a big foreshadowing of what's to come, whoever it may be, because he tells Drake there's a 1% chance that a certain man will survive by tomorrow, which there's been crazy theories. A lot of people are saying Trafalgar Law. They think Law is going to be the one that's going to die, because he doesn't say exactly who. To be honest with you, I am leaning with Law, but I really wouldn't be surprised if Drake. I think that Drake, if anything, first of all, he was in front of him. I think that it's kind of important, right? Like, hey, he's foreshadowing it. He said a certain man. He wasn't specific about it. But then also, with everything that Drake has been doing, he's kind of like, you know, crossing. He's pretending to be with the villains, with Kaido's crew, and meanwhile, he's really a Navy brat. And then now they found out about him, and they're getting rid of him, and now he's trying to link up with the Straw Hats to take them down. I think it would be huge. And at the same time, Drake is a very, very important character. He's been up until this point being this agent for so long. We've been wondering and interested about him. He has very strong power. I think it would be sick to see, and we've been diving more into his character little by little. Maybe a flashback for a chapter or so, maybe 2 chapters at max, for Drake, getting a little more about him and shit like that would be great, and a good setup and a send-off if he was to die. Like, again, another question, who's dying? It's not a Straw Hat. This isn't the finale. When we get to the final war, then we could start theorizing which Straw Hat may die. Usopp, why it gotta be Usopp, but yeah, it's gonna be Usopp if it is. Like, just saying, no, not Usopp, he's one of my favorites. Yes, I like Usopp, okay? What you gonna do about it? The bounty for Yamato has been negated because everything that's going on, and obviously she's working now with Luffy and them, so there's no reward in terms of, like, a position or a potential to reach a position for the Tobiropo. It's just like, kick her ass, fuck her up, or him, whatever the heck you want to go by at this particular point. Fuck Odin Toe. We're gonna call her Odin Toe now. And we had a few moments of, like, stuff that it matters, which I'm glad Oda uses, and it's classic Oda stuff where he uses small stuff like the Udon prisoners, how they clearing a pathway for Luffy and them, as like, come on, let them through and shit like that. Again, utilizing some small subplot, which it had a purpose for training Luffy and all that stuff, the Udon prison, but also it's giving more of a role for them other than and just like, hey, they existed. They're out of the picture now. And we got some more epicness of Zoro, Jinbei, Gear 4th, Luffy just attacking, like, again, an all-out war. Like, this is a war. People, I don't see people really officially calling it like a war and stuff. No, we're in a war in One Piece right now, people. It is what it is. Then we get a very, very big moment because Drake is found out. He's found out to be the traitor queen in them. They have him on the ground and shit. And I gotta be honest with you, it felt a bit awkward. It felt a bit awkward to me with Drake being put down like that and them really just like, I don't know, the build-up that Drake has had throughout the series of being like this monster. We know he has a legendary zone, devil fruit. It's like, he's a very, very capable guy. So seeing him getting really fucked up and Hawking saying, I knew it was you, but I wonder why, and stuff like that, and seeing him basically running, trying to escape for his life. I get it that there's multiple people there, but the way it was done, it felt a little awkward to me. It's great. It's like, okay, finally that whole operation has come to a close. We knew at some given point, like, come on, they're not stupid. They're gonna eventually find out, especially how he's maneuvering and shit like that. But it did feel like, wow, Drake is running for his life from it to go down that way, I guess. And then 990 ended off with Drake, again, awkwardly approaching Luffy saying, hey, I'm no longer with them. Can't tell you who I'm really with or what I'm really up to, but let me fight alongside you. And chapter ended there, leading into 991. And again, Drake has been one of the most important things in this batch of chapters going into 991. His betrayal, or them finding out about him and him having to run for his life and shit like that. It's like, and then Hawking's declaration of somebody, that certain person is going to die by tomorrow. There's like a 1% chance, which, why even said a 1%? I wish it would have just said 0 so we know for sure somebody's dying. I guess leaves a tiny bit of suspense of maybe that certain person, whoever it is that we're gonna find out later, won't die and shit. Like, just die. Like, as long as it's not a straw hat, because we know that that's not gonna happen. Like, yeah. Then the latest chapter, or as of the recording of this video, latest chapter, 991. We got everyone in shock at Drake attacking the numbers, which the numbers, yet again, like, they're right now some of my favorite of the opposition. Like, yo, Queen, cool shit or whatever. He pulls out automatic weapon later on in the chapter, cool beans and shit like that. But the numbers, it's just like, they're fucking monsters, man. I love it. These drunk, crazy giants. Then getting a flashback showing more of Kobe's importance, which it feels like it's been forever since we've seen Kobe. What was the last time we saw Kobe? When he was trying to apprehend Hancock? Like, that was actually happening. Let's keep it real, whatever. But the flashback of Kobe basically saying, if Luffy rocks with you, he rocks with you to the end. However, if you're an enemy, he's completely out of reach to you. So it was more so Kobe's influence that allowed Drake to be able to make that proposition and be like, yo, please let me rock with you. And here's where something important happens, because when he makes that declaration that happened at the end of 990, beginning of 991, Zoro, Frankie, and Jinbei all say, no, like, what do you mean? Like, first of all, how can we even trust you if at the drop of a hat you're leaving one crew and trying to join up with us? Like, what type of shit is that? But Luffy, the way he does is, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Which it always showcases time and time again that Luffy, right now, Jinbei is kind of big dog. He's been further than anybody on the crew in terms of going into New World. He's been through more. He has the most experience of anybody there. But Luffy's intuition, similar to like Roger, where we've seen like, this is like the comparisons that he has and similarities that he has to Roger, his innate ability to feel like things is going to be all right if he makes this decision. Again, even goes above Jinbei's experience of saying, yo, he just turned cold and now he's coming to us. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. But Luffy is like, yeah, rock with us, no doubt. Many eons ago, when Luffy went up against Usopp and he said, like, I'm glad you made that choice, because if you didn't, I wouldn't be able to follow a captain that's soft like that. Like, Zoro, he trusts him to this point because he understands, but he still is gonna be like, the fuck, what are we doing here? Oh, okay, you know, we got Nami there, and we've seen these dialogue boxes, and it's like, yeah, I'll kick your ass, I'm Nami and shit, and I'm like, oh, damn, okay, Nami, like, you on your city girl shit, huh? Like, you a scammer, you a fuck people. Think about it. Yo, Nami is the original city girl, bro. She was scamming motherfuckers, she was robbing them, kicking ass, like... But then we find out the hilarity of it is, once again, coward Usopp is hiding and he's pretending to be Nami and saying those things, and Nami's like, what the fuck are you doing? That was one of my favorite moments in all of these chapters recently. Like, I thought Usopp left that shit behind, but I mean, Yeah, he left it behind to a certain extent, but come on, look at what we're facing. We're facing some of the top at this particular point. Kaido's crew is like, how much further higher up? There is no really higher up, right? Like, Big Mom's crew, Kaido's crew is the strongest at the very least of what we know so far. So yeah, I'm not mad at Usopp being scared and doing that, but goddamn, why you had to do that to Nami? But after a certain point, Nami's like, alright, fuck it. Want to come for us? Let's do it. And they run together. But this right here, this I am so here for, and I really, really hope it goes down. And page 1, let's fucking go, because this right there, it's a great way to showcase that even if they're the weak ones, right? Even if they're part of the weak crew of the Straw Hats, if they manage to take out some Tobi Hoppo, that right there solidifies that Luffy's Straw Hat crew is not only like, Nami's not only great as a navigator, Usopp's not only great, Luffy's crew as not only, okay, you know, they got lucky here, they got lucky there, but it'll showcase, no, even the weak ones are really, really fucking strong, which is what I feel about when I think of, you know, Shanks' crew. When I think of Roger's crew, I think of even the weaklings still could have kicked ass. Minus maybe like Buggy back when, you know, yeah, but minus Buggy, which I guess Usopp would be that role, I guess. I don't know. Then Luffy, Sanji run into Scratchman Apoo. Scratchman Apoo still at it again. Can we get rid of this motherfucker already? Like, I cannot stand. Basically, I want to say it was even showcased, essentially his role in the Beast Pirates is he's a snitch. Like, he is straight up like the snitch of the Beast Pirates. Can we get him out of here? At this point, I'm starting to get annoyed by his existence. Somebody, please, Luffy, go Gear 8 and knock him out to another fucking planet. But Scratchman Apoo was useful for our side, at the very least. Using his sound effects kind of knocks out some of the numbers. And then Hacha, yet again, Hacha just lifts up the fucking knocked out drunk giant, which you gotta think, how strong are these people, right? Because these are like gigantic. If you look at them in comparison to like the Straw Hats and shit, they are fucking like 100 times, not 100, I don't know, like 20 times the size of the Straw Hats. They are humongous, and he is lifting up one of his fallen comrade and trying to use him as a weapon. Hacha, like, I don't know, the numbers is just ferocious, fierce, like not to be fucked with by any means. And once again, like, I gotta, if I don't have Frankie in the thumbnail, I'm slacking and I forgot, because then Frankie yet again going into the picture, like, trying to lure Hacha, the numbers, out of the dome, because it's like, come on, these guys are huge. They're gonna just kill everybody in the streets. If you've made it to this point in the video, type hashtag Frankie is super in the comments. I need to see it. He deserves it, Frankie. And like what we were talking about earlier, Zoro's distrust for Drake kind of gets a little bit subsided, because Drake's like, I'm not gonna do it for y'all, but I really want to fuck up Scratchman Apoo. And Zoro's like, oh, I bet. Yeah, I still don't really trust you like that, but fuck it, let's do it. I'm just like, you can tell Scratchman Apoo, he is really hated on like all sides. Even when Drake was rocking with them. Granted, you know, he had to play the role. He had to put up with this motherfucker. Like, yeah, just kick Scratchman Apoo's ass, please. And then Queen, I don't even know. I feel like, what series was he in for a minute? Pulling out an automatic weapon that potentially has sea stone bullets, and that's why he's pulling out, because Drake is like, what are you gonna do with that? What is it? Sea prism stone, I think it's called. But like, yeah, that'll really fuck everyone up, because if you just get hit, any of like the Straw Hats that have devil fruit abilities, they're fucked. Anybody for that matter. Which, thinking about it now, like, let's just say he starts shooting and he starts hitting a lot of people that have devil fruit abilities. He's gonna screw over a lot of people, not only the opponents that he has, but also his people and shit. So Queen, you're kind of an idiot. This might backfire on you. I'm just saying. And here's something that I found a little insulting, and I felt like, oh, come on. Because we cut back to the battle with the Scabbards and the Sulongs, and we see Jack, one of his horns is broken off. He is absolutely battered and fucked up, and good job. Great. That showcases just how capable the Sulong are when they have, you know, the moon and all of that shit. Awesome shit there. But we should have seen that. Like, this is the thing that I have a problem with when Oda skips something. Like, we should have seen them breaking him down, kicking his face in, saying, you did this to us, this is what you get, you did that. Like, we had a whole arc Zoe, like, and it culminates in a skipped battle. Like, that's something where I'm kind of like, come on, Oda. Like, I get it, there's a lot of fights you got going on right now, but to skip Jack, like, come on, that could have been at least 3 or 4 fucking pages just seeing the Sulongs going ham. Look at them, they're so cool. Like that fucking panel where you see the 2 giant Inuarashi and Nekomamushi. I'm just like, come on, they look so fucking sick. We should have seen that fight. Oda, you slacking on that, bro. Like, I get it, there's a lot going on, but that had a whole arc of setup for this shit. Like, maybe we'll get some more moving forward because Kaido did step in and shit like that. Maybe we'll get more of Jack's backstory. He'll get a second round of energy to really go in and shit like that. But come on, man. Because it was kind of weird when Kaido gets like really upset and say, hey, this was my handpicked man. I gotta step in. I'm not gonna let y'all do that to him. And he fires off a blast. I'm just like, you really care about Jack? Are you related? Is Jack your child or something? Like, maybe your bastard son on some Jon Snow type of shit. Like, what's up with that? But at the very least, he gives credit. He says, it's not that you're weak by any means, fam. Like, they're just that strong. Like, the Sulong are them motherfuckers that you don't want to fuck with. And the latest chapter ends off with Kinemon charging in saying, yo, we can die as Odin's samurai. We want to go that way, but we got to take your head first. And to be honest with you, that would be crazy if all of Odin's vassals die in this war, going, you know, to the grave with Odin. I don't know, like, I'd see that. I wouldn't be upset about it, especially if it's showcased the way it happens and stuff. If it's in an honorable and just epic way, I wouldn't mind it. Or at the very least, a few of them passing away in the battle and shit like that. Kaido using a blast breath and Kinemon going in. I'm just like, yeah, this is crazy. But overall, One Piece again has been magnificent to say the least. And Frankie MVP, Nami Usopp versus Page One and Ulti, please happen. Drake, you know, finally getting found out and joining with the Straw Hats temporarily, even though, you know, he's really with the Navy. Just so many things. Curious what you guys think about all of this shit. Like, how you see things moving. Are you upset? Are you disappointed with Jack's battle against the Sulong being skipped and just seeing Jack fucked up? That should have been the result, hands down, because it built up the Sulong like they ain't nothing to play with. But we should have seen it. That's my problem. Your real thoughts and expectations moving forward with chapter 992 and beyond of One Piece. Absolute greatness! But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForeneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life. Bye. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and yeah, that One Piece greatness. I hope I quenched your thirst for some One Piece. This is a pretty hefty long video, if I do say so myself. Have an awesome one, people.
It's not like